should indeed look more positively and constructively at what it is that the UN is doing, whether it is in terms of global normative frameworks that are being adopted, but also the delivery of various programs at country level. And I think that's where I would like to come in to give specific example, as the RC has invited us to do. From my perspective, as UN Women representative here in Zimbabwe, when I see the progress that is happening in terms of issues of women representation, for instance, we are fresh from the 2023 elections. Looking at 30% representation of women in parliament, 42% representation of women at the local level, looking at close to 30%, 28% actually representation of women in the public sector in terms of permanent secretaries, direct general DGs, and so on. I think I am looking at a glass that is filling up. I'm looking at a glass that is half full. I am looking at efforts in terms of eradicating gender-based violence, for instance, and looking at what the country has done, especially under the Spotlight Initiative funded by the European Union. We've seen tremendous progress there. Are we there yet? Are we where we would like to be? Perhaps not yet, but we are definitely making great steps in the right direction. So I think for us in particular, we do celebrate, and this is something we've achieved in collaboration with our colleagues from UNICEF, looking at the Marriage Act, for instance, that brings the age of marriage to 18. It is very, very important, especially if you know that in this country, 30% of the women who are actually married in relationships have been married before the age of 18. So yes, we are making progress, and yes, through gathering like the Summit of the Future that is coming up, we are indeed, as the UN, fostering the spirit of multilateralism. The RC mentioned in his remarks the need for global solidarity, the need to renew the social contract. So this is why the Summit of the Future is happening, to remind everyone, coming out of this COVID pandemic and how it has affected us and affected countries and member states, coming out of that, how do we rebuild this spirit of global solidarity? I personally believe that